So consider something. When we're told that, oh, the Greek gods, that's just mythology, or the Roman gods, it's just Roman mythology. Yet it all seems to go back to, the roots all go back to the same worshiping. And what does it worship? Well, it worships the celestial hosts. I mean, that's what God refers to them. See, the planets and the stars above you, they're considered the celestial hosts. That's why God talked about the wandering stars, the falling stars. So we're told, because science says, well, no, that's space and there's no firmament, and yeah, okay. So it's really simple here. God says that celestial group up there, some of them leave their proper place. And they come down here and they cause a bunch of havoc. That's why God has to contend with them eventually. But what, and so we're told that, oh, that's just nonsense. That's Greek mythology. That's Roman mythology. We have no evidence for that. You know, all your hoity-toity, overeducated fools, you know, carry on like that. But what does the Greek mythology and Roman mythology, and even if it's your movie stars and your, you know, people that use music, let's say many of the artists. Well, when you look into it, that all goes back to that same worshiping. And what do they worship? Oh, they worship the sun. They worship Mars. They worship Jupiter. They worship the celestial realm, not God. Because Lucifer himself, who was part of that celestial realm, it's not just him that falls. Like, he's the main one, because he got so prideful that he wanted to be even above God. So God has to eventually contend with that. But all of those things that we're told are mythologies all go back to the very worshiping of the planets. The very things that says in the Bible that those are the things, the stars, that the wandering stars that leave their dwelling, they leave their first estate, as it says in the book of Jude. They leave their first estate, and they're not supposed to. There's a time when that realm will descend. It's when God says so. When God says, no, you got to do something about this. And then all of them, even the ones that have stayed in their proper estate, they all come down. And then that's God's army. And they then have to deal with the army that's been leading man astray down here. But every single one of the mythology of Greek gods, the mythology of Roman gods, or the present day, it all goes back to the same thing. It all lines up because they worship the sun, they worship Mars, they worship Jupiter, they worship Saturn. So do you see how that's how it proves the Bible right there? It does. They worship Venus. That's why God said they leave their proper place of dwelling. So the sun and the moon are on our side of the firmament. It's interesting. I was looking up the other day. You know how sometimes you look up a word that you know the definition for, but you want to see what else it defines, like if it's what the other definitions are. And under air, it said firmament. Yeah. So the way it works is the sun and the moon are on our side of the firmament. They do not leave our side of the firmament, okay? It's clear in the Bible. The stars, though, they can move in and out of the firmament. And yet, what did Jesus say? The prince of darkness is the prince of the air. That's why. It all lines up. So, and that's the reason why God made it a point. Do not worship the hosts in heaven. Don't be doing that. That'll lead you down the wrong road. Because it does. It did in Greek days. None of that's a mythology. And yet all of it ties back to the serpent stuff. All of it does. So, and that's why that great deceiver is a great deceiver. The book of Jude, which is right before the book of Revelations, talks about them they leave their estate. So they've been doing that because they can come and go. But once they become a wandering star, then they have left their position of dwelling. And there's a lot of them that have. They're like their own army that decided to follow Lucifer. So the next time you see a shooting star, you should maybe look at it as a wandering star. Although I think that there's some up there in the heavenly celestial host realm that are good angels. Of course they are. That intervene too. Like what's that quote that says that be careful how you treat others. You never know when you may be dealing with an angel, something like that. So, but what my point is that all this stuff goes back to worshiping the planets. So, every single one of the mythologies. So they're not myths. They literally are from that realm. They do want you to worship them. They want to get you to worship anything but the true Almighty God, which is why Jesus talked so much about hell and said the prince of the air is the prince of darkness. Because it is the air. They come from the celestial realm. Get it? The way it's deceiving people right now is with AI, there will be many people that will fall to that way, because this is why I bring up frequency, vibration, energy. It's dangerous, so dangerous, because all of those three words, they fall in line with air. They do. They fall in line with all of that. And God said the prince of darkness is the prince of the air. And yet AI, I see people that are asking AI what Revelations means. AI will never be able to tell you the truth about because it doesn't have an ability to. And plus, whoever's programmed it, they look at AI as their God. So the one God they've never wanted to acknowledge, this world doesn't, it is the biblical one. However, if you ask AI, because I did post this video, of course it's not getting any views. I'm being shadow banned today. But somebody asked AI, what's the most factual religion? And it said the Bible. There's the most evidence for it, and it's the most consistent. But what AI is doing overall, and there's more and more creators doing this, is they have their little AI assistant. And so people say, ask it about the book of Revelations. What it'll tell you is that it's about energy, vibration, and frequency. It's about you raising yourself. I actually got into it with somebody in my comment section a couple days ago, because they said, no, Jesus said, ye are gods. Right, but he wasn't talking about you becoming a god like him. Like, for anybody that doubts that, just read the book of Job and know your place. Know your place. That's all I have to say. Because for anybody to think that, because that wicked one has done that shit forever, getting people to think, no, you just have to raise, because that's what it wants to do. That's exactly what Lucifer fell for, because he wanted to be God. He wanted to be above God. So anytime I see somebody saying that, and people are, no, God is going to let us, we're the good side, so we'll raise in vibration and frequency, and then we will become the God. Yeah, and the serpent was saying that shit back during the Greek mythology days too, when it wasn't really a myth. Because they want you to worship the Mars. They want you to worship Jupiter and Venus. That's why every single one of this, all of this crap goes back to the same stuff. AI will tell you that no, this isn't a literal meaning that God comes down and deals with the hosts that have fallen from heaven. Oh yes, he does. But AI is being the great, the final deceptor of all. And I see people, they're believing it. Oh, that makes sense. Of course, it's not. God didn't mean literal. Oh, God, that just scares me every time I see people say that. Because that's the same beast, that same wandering star, Lucifer, that has been deceiving everybody, and now is doing it on a mass scale with AI. You can use AI, just be sure you understand what your place is when it comes to God and who the celestial hosts are.